Hey guys, welcome back to Yay Dude Sports. I'm Malena Putnam and I'm here with JD Shaklee, our sports dude. Wow, JD. I mean, last weekend, I think I watched 8 football games. It
Yeah.
was such a good day. Definitely sat a lot all day, but I mean, so many people lost in the top
Mhm.
20.
Mhm.
OU and OSU looked a little better. Let's
Mhm.
start with OSU. What do you think about last week's game?
Well, I think the thing about OSU, and this is a weird statistics to start off on, but it hasn't happened in years and years and years. Spencer Sanders on the day, 13 of 23, 182 yards, 1 touchdown, but he threw 3 interceptions. And that's kind of been the thorn in his side. And a lot of times those interceptions, and then last year he had some trouble with fumbles, but turnovers in general have kind of doomed Oklahoma State. But last week he threw 3 interceptions, and they still pulled out the victory.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was an amazing game. And the other thing that you know, uh, I guess a broken clock is right twice a day. Jaylen Warren, I said when we first talked on our first video,
Yeah.
I was really excited to see what Jaylen Warren, the transfer, could do. And they handed him the ball 36 times last week, just 125 yards. But at some point, they're going to have to start really, and they are spreading the carries around a little bit, but that's quite a workload. I think he maybe had over 30 the previous game, and but he has turned out to be a gem of a transfer, especially with LD Brown, kind of that lead back by committee coming into the season, getting hurt. So he has just been uh, a real gem, and I think Cowboy fans are very lucky to have him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been so fun to watch. And I uh, it's just crazy because of course so many teams lost last week that OU, so I guess OU fell again, right? But OSU went up. So just the
Right.
fact that here we are again with both teams being
Mm-hmm.
undefeated and being in the top 12, I guess, now that
Right.
OSU's 12 and is OU 6 right now? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I believe so. It may depend on what poll you look at, but
Yeah.
I saw a statistic earlier this week. The thing that it kind of it's a weird stat. It means nothing, but I found it really interesting that Oklahoma and Michigan were the two states that had two still undefeated Division I football teams. Yeah, Oklahoma State, and Michigan State. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but we are very fortunate in the state to have the quality football that we do for our population base,
Yeah.
right? Not a huge state, but we are very, very fortunate.
Yeah, it's just so fun to be undefeated, and we know that may end Saturday for
Yeah.
OU. We don't know, and then OSU, of course, plays Texas the following week. So two really interesting back-to-back weeks then happening, and OSU has a bye this week, so at least they get to
Yeah.
practice and rest and study Texas a little bit more. So we'll see what happens next weekend for them, but for let's switch to OU then. What were your thoughts, first of all, last week, and then leading into what your predictions are for OU Texas?
I wrote an article for Yay Dude, and I think the first 2 words in it were baby steps. And as far as my feelings about the team, it felt a little better. You know, Spencer Rattler goes, and he's statistically so far this year, he's been pretty good. He went 22 for 25 on the day, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but essentially, I immediately was like, now wait a minute. And somebody immediately in the room, my friend, the Sooner man, one of the Grateful Dads, he corrected me. He's like, that's basically a punt because it was 3rd and long. He was throwing it up. And I was like, okay, you're right. So that's the thing is you want to see consistent improvement. Again, I go back to what the expectations were for this season. And I know it's based on years of success and seeing Kyler and Baker and, even Jalen last year rack up points at an alarming rate. So for them to score 30 something points last week, it was really nice. And I can't stop talking about that game without mentioning the onside kick. The fact that Lincoln, either Lincoln saw or Lincoln had somebody in his ear up in the booth, see that kicker's foot grazed, it came back up and hit the bottom of his foot. Unbelievable call, because if they don't get that onside kick, it's really kind of a crapshoot how that turns out.
Yeah.
Because Kansas State gets the ball deep then, and who knows what happens.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but I'm like, that's so smart to have. You've got to have your team look out for you like that. And that's what, got to have good eyes. So I thought that was really definitely a good catch there, because things could have gone so much poorer for OU. So there were several things that were kind of in their favor, just lucked out during the game. So what are you thinking about OU Texas this weekend then?
You know, considering how the season has gone thus far, part of me wants to be pessimistic, but Texas is no great shakes, right? Texas's offensive line is not exactly going to be the Joe Moore Award winner. And although the running back they do have behind that line might be a Heisman winner, and Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson on the season already has almost rushed for 700 yards in 5 games. He's almost caught the ball for another 200 yards roughly. He will be one of the best backs in this game since DeMarco Murray. He is a super talented potential. In the way the NFL has changed, this is really saying something. I believe he'll be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. And running backs are not usually first-round picks. You have to be super special to be a first-round pick, and I believe he is. Casey Thompson, you can't go on without mentioning him. A real good story in that his father, Charles Thompson, of course, played for OU. His brother Kendall, just the whole Thompson family. It's a really interesting story. And he will be starting for Texas. So you'll have former OU quarterback Charles Thompson rooting for his son and Texas in that game, which is a little bit weird. But Casey Thompson has come in and been very serviceable since they basically stepped away from the freshman Hudson Card. And so I look for it to be a great game. I mean, it really could be a great game. OU is, OU is going to have to tackle well with Bijan Robinson. And OU, or Spencer, is going to have to be safe with the ball. I don't think we can. I think Texas is a team that OU's not going to be able to get away with turnovers like OSU did last week against Baylor. If they turn the ball over 2 or 3 times, that could be real trouble.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that Texas definitely is going to be playing really tough, and it's just a historic, fun game, and it's such a good rivalry, even when the teams aren't doing very well. And so the fact that, so we'll see what happens this year, and I'm sure Texas is ready to take OU down, and we'll see what happens. Where are you going to watch the game?
I'm watching the game from a cabin with my 5 groomsmen. Some of that from my wedding 20 plus years ago. Some of them I haven't seen in like 17 years. So, yeah, it's kind of a little college/high school reunion of my 5 guys. So
you're having a bro weekend and getting to watch OU Texas at the same time. I love that.
Yep.
So fun. Well, I don't even know exactly where I'm going to watch the game. We're not going to Dallas, but we want to say to everyone who's traveling, be really safe out there.
Yes.
And of course, we have, you had mentioned your story on Yay Dude, so that is published. Every week, JD is doing a Yay Memories series on the Big 12 and gives us a look back at a past game and then a little bit about the upcoming game. So definitely go on our sports page there and check that out. We've got a video about Eddie Wren, one of our MVPs, kind of his history. And of course, Eddie's restaurants, he has grilled wings that are super popular for game day. So check out Hot Wings and Eddie's there. And
Try the dry rub.
yeah, another news story that's fun is on haunted houses. So Sarah did a list of all the different haunted houses you can go to. Now, is that something that you do every October, or are you not a haunted house guy?
So the last time I went to a haunted house, I punched one of workers in the face. Just out of fear. I was backed into a corner and I just got really scared and I just popped. I didn't know what else to do. Fear took over me. I'm sure it was just, no malice was intended. It was only to fear, it just popped right in the nose. And he took off his mask and was like, "Hey, dude." And I was like, I'm sorry. So yeah, it was
I would do that too. That's just like a natural reaction. This is why I don't go to haunted houses. But for those of you who do, the story is on Yay Dude. And the other thing I was going to tell you, since you're also our movie dude, have you gone to see Venom yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, Carnage. We did see that the other night. Flick's Brew House, and I'm going to share some photos and stuff of Flick's Brew House. It was my first time there.
Very interesting.
Cool. Like interesting that you sit down, you don't get your food and drink ahead of time. You're waited on. So it's like a restaurant, brewery, film house all in one. Nice. So kind of an interesting concept. And the movie was fun. I won't give any spoilers, but it's definitely one that you want to see on the big screen just because, of course, Venom is an alien. So
well, we recently watched Halloween with my daughter. And the original. So I'm going to work on a Halloween movie article that should be hopefully coming up in the next week or 2 weeks, hopefully.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I got to do horns down because I won't get in trouble for it. Yeah. All right. Have a great weekend and
Dude.
sooner.